So, it has been weeks that the Bleach 1000-Year Blood War Part 3, the conflict, have just finished airing, and lots of the manga's biggest question has been answers by the anime. Most of these notorious questions are all about Kyoraku Shinsui's abilities, so in today's video, I will be ranking and explaining all abilities used by Shinsui in the anime. I will be talking about both his Shikai and Bankai abilities, so, be aware for spoiler alert, if you are not updated with the anime. So without further delay, let's get into the video, but before we begin, please make sure to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell to get notified on my latest video. So, without further delay, let's begin this video. So for a quick recap, Kyoraku Shinsui is the former captain of the 8th Squad and the current leader of the Gote 13. His Zanpakuto is called Katen Kyokotsu. His Zanpakuto is a duo-type Zanpakuto and one of the rarest type Zanpakuto in the Soul Society, since they exist only 3 of this type in the entire Soul Society. His Zanpakuto release command is, when the flower wind sings, the flower god rage, when the heavenly wind sing, the devil in heaven sneers, Katen Kyokotsu. His Zanpakuto turn into 2 scimitar when activated. His Shikai has the ability to turn children game into reality, while his Bankai has the ability to turn adults games or plays to reality. So with that said, let's get to the main topic of the video. Coming in at the 10th spot and last place is Taka Oni, which literally means mountain demon. This is one of Shinsui's Shikai abilities, and it was used in his battle with Stark. Generally, Shinsui's Shikai has the ability to turn children's games into reality, utilizing techniques based on pre-existing Japanese childhood activities, which can either be structured or spontaneous. The Zanpakuto makes the rules of the game, and whoever steps within the range of its Ryutsu is forced to play by those rules, including Shinsui himself. According to Shinsui, you win, you live. You lose, you die. Taka Oni allows him to teleport a great distance above his opponent and close the gap between them. Shinsui later explains that in this game, whoever is higher up, wins. While this ability can be terrifying when caught by surprise, it is not as deadly as other attacks. We don't really see the you lose, you die rule in action, as Stark was able to easily block the attack, so it ranks last on our list. Coming in, at the 9th spot we have Bushogoma, also known as lazy spinning top. This is one of Shinsui's Shikai abilities. In this technique, Shinsui spins with both blades facing opposite directions, creating large wind blades that shoot out towards his opponent. These wind blades join together to form a spinning circle, almost like a tornado, trapping the enemy in a whirlwind of wind. What's impressive about Bushogoma is its ability to counteract powerful attacks, like Sero blasts. The sheer force of the wind and the disorienting effect of the spinning circle make it a dangerous move. However, despite its power, it doesn't carry the same, you win, you live, you lose, you die, certainty as some of Shinsui's other techniques. Coming in at number 8 is a technique from Shinsui's Bankai, Ichidan Mi, Ta Marai Kizu no Wakachiai, or, first act, hesitance and apportionment of wounds. This ability is part of Shinsui's complex Bankai, which forces both him and his opponent to act out a tragic play. In this case, it's a play based on a double suicide of 2 lovers. Each of the 4 stages of this Bankai represents a different act in the story, with the final act ensuring the opponent's death. Now, the unique part of Ta Marai Kizu no Wakachiai is that it allows Shinsui to share any wounds inflicted between him and his opponent. If Shinsui gets injured, the same injury will appear on his opponent's body, and vice versa. This creates a psychological advantage, as the opponent feels the pain of every attack. However, there's a catch, the opponent can't die from the wounds, even though they feel them. While this is an excellent psychological tool and can wear down an opponent, it doesn't have the lethal finality of some of Shinsui's other abilities. Coming in at number 7 is second act, the Pillow of Shame. This ability is part of Shinsui's Bankai, and it's a gruesome technique that inflicts black spots all over the opponent's body. These spots cause them to bleed uncontrollably, representing the intense guilt and shame the opponent feels after wounding someone they care about, just like the character in Shinsui's tragic play. As the opponent suffers, they not only lose their health but also become overwhelmed by their shame, eventually collapsing from the burden. The mental and physical effects of this technique are devastating, and it's a great way for Shinsui to break his opponent down psychologically. Next up at number 6 is Kage Oni, or Shadow Demon, a Shikai ability of Shinsui. This is a game-based technique where the objective is simple: whoever has their shadow stepped on loses. The technique allows Shinsui to manipulate shadows in a variety of ways, using them to his advantage during combat. For example, he can hide himself in the shadows to become nearly invisible, making him extremely difficult to track. He can also control the shadows themselves, using them to attack his opponent by striking the shadow the opponent is standing on. The rule of the game makes this technique uniquely unsettling, and while it's not as outright deadly as some of Shinsui's other powers, it is incredibly effective for disorienting and outmaneuvering enemies. Coming in at number 5 is Kyokotsu, another Shikai ability of Shinsui. In this technique, Shinsui or his opponent can focus on their shadow and, by staring at it long enough, project an afterimage on a different surface. The catch is that the higher the opponent's spiritual awareness, the more realistic the afterimage will appear, making it difficult to distinguish between the real Shinsui and the illusion. This ability is based on the children's game Chi-chan no Kyokotsu, where you stare at your shadow before looking at a different surface to see a lingering afterimage. Shinsui uses this game to create confusion and misdirection, causing his enemies to waste. In fourth place we have another Shikai ability, Daruma San ga Koranda, or the Dharma doll fell down, a technique that turns the children's game, red light, green light, into a deadly battle. When Shinsui or his opponent is marked as being it, the other must approach him while a trail of Ryutsu is left behind. However, if Shinsui spots his opponent while they're moving, that opponent loses and is killed. While it's a clever technique that can throw off the enemy, it relies more on trickery and psychological manipulation than pure offensive power, which is why it ranks so low. That said, this technique still forced Leelbaro, one of the most powerful Quincy warriors, to use his Valstandig, proving its effectiveness in the right circumstances. In third place is Sandan-mi, Dangyo no Fushi, third act, the Severing Abyss, the third arc of Shinsui's Bankai. This technique engulfs both Shinsui and his opponent in a massive, inescapable body of water. The rule of this fight is that neither combatant can escape until one of them runs out of Ryutsu and ultimately drowns. Shinsui narrates this scene, likening it to the tragic story where the characters throw themselves into gushing waters, creating an intense psychological and physical battle for survival. The relentless nature of this ability forces both combatants to push their Ryutsu to the limit, making it a dangerous, drawn-out confrontation. That's why it earns the number 3 spot. In second place is Iroh Oni, Color Demon, Shinsui's last Shikai ability, which revolves around a color-based game. In this game, Shinsui and his opponent each call out a color to cut with their sword, but here's the twist: the damage inflicted depends on how much of that color is present on their body. If the chosen color is not on their opponent, the damage is minimal, but if it's a color they're both wearing, the damage can be devastating for both. This creates a delicate balance, as the higher the risk of calling a color that is prominent on both combatants, the higher the potential for massive damage. For example, if Shinsui wears black robes and calls black, he can inflict catastrophic damage on the opponent, but he risks suffering the same fate if the opponent's clothing or skin is heavily colored in black. This makes it an incredibly dangerous technique, and it's a perfect example of Shinsui's ability to manipulate the battlefield with his intellect, earning it the second spot. Finally, the most powerful of Shinsui's abilities, landing at number 1, is Shime no Dan, Itokiribasumi Chizo mi no Nodobu, final act, thread-cutting scissors upon a blood-streaked throat. This is the final act of Shinsui's Bankai, and it is as deadly as it sounds. After sheathing his swords, Shinsui winds a white thread around his opponent's throat multiple times before pulling it taut, creating a deep cut that slowly expands. This cut then causes the opponent's head to explode, delivering a fatal blow. This technique is a quick, lethal execution, and Shinsui likens it to the regret of the tragic man whose partner ignores his pleas and mercilessly shears his throat. This move is an instant kill, and its chilling finality earns it the top spot on this list as the deadliest of his abilities. And there you have it, the ranking of Shinsui Kyouraku's abilities from weakest to strongest. Which of his techniques do you think is the most powerful? Do you agree with my ranking? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on my latest content. Also, if you'd like to see me rank all of Renji's abilities, leave a comment and like this video. Once it hits 100 likes, I'll post the Renji ranking video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.